Jules Verne was born on February 8, 1828, in the city of Nantes, France. He grew up in a time when many people were fascinated by adventure and exploration, and this influenced his later work as a writer. From a young age, Verne had a passion for reading and learning about the world. He was especially interested in science, geography, and the possibilities of technology. His love for adventure stories and his curiosity about the world around him helped shape the stories he would later write. As a child, Verne was educated in Nantes, and later he moved to Paris to study law. However, his true passion was not law but writing. He began writing plays and stories while he was still in school. Although his early works were not very successful, Verne's creativity and determination helped him to keep writing. He eventually found success in the world of literature. In the 1860s, Verne began to focus more on writing science fiction. His works were not just about fantasy and adventure, but also about the potential future of humanity. He was fascinated by the advances in technology during his time, such as the invention of the steam engine and the development of new forms of transportation. Verne's writing often explored these themes, imagining what the world might be like if technology could take humans to the farthest corners of the earth, and even beyond. One of Verne's most famous works is 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. In this novel, he tells the story of Captain Nemo, a mysterious and adventurous figure who travels beneath the seas in a fantastic submarine called the Nautilus. The novel was groundbreaking for its time, as it explored the possibilities of underwater travel and the wonders of the ocean. Verne's descriptions of the underwater world were detailed and vivid, showing his deep interest in science and nature. Another well-known work of Verne's is Around the World in 80 Days. In this story, the main character, Phileas Fogg, makes a bet that he can travel around the world in just 80 days. The novel explores the ideas of speed, technology, and travel, all of which were important themes in Verne's writing. At the time Verne wrote this book, the world was becoming more connected thanks to new inventions like the steamship and the railroad. Around the World in 80 Days showed how travel was changing and how it was possible to cross large distances much more quickly than ever before. Verne's works were not only about adventure, but they also reflected his interest in scientific discovery. He often incorporated real scientific knowledge into his stories, and many of his predictions about future technology turned out to be surprisingly accurate. For example, in From the Earth to the Moon, Verne imagined a group of people traveling to the moon in a spacecraft, long before space travel became a reality. This novel, along with others like The Mysterious Island and Journey to the Center of the Earth, made Verne one of the earliest writers to explore the idea of space exploration and the wonders of the universe. Despite his success as a writer, Verne's works were not always taken seriously by critics. Many people considered his stories to be fantasy, and they thought that his scientific ideas were unrealistic. However, Verne's influence on literature and science fiction is undeniable. His stories inspired many other writers and scientists, and his work continues to be read and enjoyed by people all over the world. Verne wrote over 60 novels during his career, and his works were translated into many different languages. His stories were loved not only by children, but also by adults who appreciated the adventurous spirit and the exciting worlds he created. In many of his books, Verne showed how human beings could push the boundaries of what was possible and achieve great things. His characters often faced difficult challenges, but they used their intelligence, bravery, and teamwork to overcome them. Throughout his life, Verne remained deeply interested in the development of science and technology. He was always keeping up with the latest inventions and discoveries, and he often included these in his writing. For example, he wrote about airships, submarines, and other technologies that were just beginning to be developed during his time. Many of the things he wrote about seemed impossible at the time, but over time, they became reality. For example, the submarine, like the one in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, became a key part of naval exploration, and space travel became a major goal for scientists and engineers. In addition to his novels, Verne wrote short stories, plays, and essays. His writing was popular not only in France, but also around the world. He had a large following in countries like the United States, Germany, and England, where readers were excited by his imaginative tales of adventure and exploration. Verne's books were often serialized, meaning they were published in parts in magazines before being released as full novels. This helped build suspense and kept readers eagerly waiting for the next installment. Verne's influence on literature is still felt today. Many modern science fiction writers, including famous authors like H.G. Wells and Arthur C. Clarke, were inspired by Verne's works. His imaginative ideas about science, exploration, and adventure continue to shape the genre of science fiction. Verne was one of the first writers to take the possibilities of science and technology seriously, and he helped show that the future could be full of exciting and unexpected discoveries. Verne's writing also had a significant impact on film and television. Many of his books were adapted into movies, and these adaptations introduced his stories to new generations of audiences. Films like Journey to the Center of the Earth and Around the World in 80 Days became popular, and they helped bring Verne's adventures to life in a new medium. His works have also inspired countless television shows, documentaries, and even video games, proving that his ideas continue to captivate audiences of all ages. Despite his success, Verne faced some personal challenges. Later in life, he became somewhat reclusive and spent a lot of time alone. He also struggled with health problems, including a period of depression. However, his love of writing never wavered, and he continued to work on new stories until his death. Jules Verne passed away on March 24, 1905, at the age of 77. His death marked the end of an era in literature, but his legacy continues to live on through his books and the many adaptations of his work. Jules Verne was not just a writer of adventure stories. He was a visionary who looked to the future and imagined the possibilities that technology and exploration might bring. His works continue to inspire readers and thinkers all over the world, and his influence on literature, science fiction, and even real-world technology is immense. Verne's ability to mix science, adventure, and imagination made him one of the most important writers of the 19th century. Today, his books are still widely read and appreciated, and they remain a key part of the history of science fiction literature. Jules Verne's work reminds us of the power of the imagination. He showed us that there are no limits to what people can achieve, and that the world is full of mysteries waiting to be explored. His stories continue to challenge readers to think about the future and to dream of new possibilities. In this way, Jules Verne's legacy lives on, inspiring generations of readers, writers, and scientists who look to the stars and the seas, always searching for the next great adventure.